question. What is a lesson we can learn from this week's election for business? Everybody's feeling lots of different feelings out there, but what is a lesson we can learn for business and for leadership? That is what we're going to talk about on today's show, The Leader's Pause, and we'll get right started soon.
Welcome to the Leader's Pause, where leaders like you tune in to find calm, get clear, and level up. Tune in with best-selling author, speaker, and coach Hal Runkel as he helps you take back your time, your energy, and your decision-making power. All you have to do is learn to press your own pause button first. So, take a break, take a breath, take a knee, and learn to access your greatest human superpower, the ability to pause, think, and decide for yourself. It's time to find calm, get clear, and level up. The Leader's Pause starts now.
Good evening, afternoon. Welcome to Leader's Pause. I am your host, Hal Runkel. I'm an author and a speaker and a leadership coach and consultant. And it is, I think it's an interesting week in so many ways, and it's an understatement to say this was a consequential week here in the US of A and the rest of the world because of this election. And there are lots of feelings. I have fielded texts and calls from my clients, both current and former clients, about how to address things in the workplace, what to do about the fact that you probably have a divided workplace, and very, very different feelings, obviously, coming from this. And that's we do not have the luxury as intentional leaders to sit in our own feelings and unchecked, and project those onto those that we're serving. That's one of the times where leadership gets lonely. This is seeking out, particularly your direct report, seeking out someone to share either your joy, your excitement, your happiness about the result, or your sorrow and your despair and your fears about the results. We have to manage those internally, share those with other people so that we can lead. And that's really hard. I had a session with a client this morning scheduled, and I had no idea where she was, and did not plan on talking about it, but I wanted to make sure that my own feelings were not going to bleed into that. And she actually wanted to talk about it from the very beginning, from the very get-go. And so we did. And that's what we spent the whole time discussing. Where I've been is striving to be as curious as possible about these results, digging into certain stats that are really, really surprising. The incredible increases amongst Latino men, that was fascinating. That they actually flipped them. A 35-point difference. They were 23% in favor of Biden 4 years ago, and they were 12% in favor of Trump this year. That's fascinating. Also fascinating, 20 did not make any gains among white men and lost support among white women, but gained with black men, gained hugely with both Latino women and Latino men. And that made a lot of the difference. So I've been trying to be as curious as possible. Okay, what can we learn from this? Predicting what's going to happen is one of life's most futile exercises, but trying to understand what has happened is, I think, the only way we could ever begin to predict. But understanding what has happened does not, past results are no guarantee of future outcomes. So where I would like to spend today is talking about what we can learn from marketing, or in the world of marketing, from this election. because in so many ways it is a fascinating study in marketing and messaging. And I've got a framework that I use to understand how to attract clients. It's something I teach when I consult, but it's something also I practice in my own business. And it's a framework that I messed up for years and years and years. And it's one of those where when you finally do get it, it is almost miraculous. And I will say this, that I believe the Republican Party and specifically Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, got this right so much better than the Democrats did. This understanding of marketing, and it is a progression. So I'm going to overlay this progression onto the election and see what we can come up with. And maybe it will help make sense for you of the election itself, but maybe it'll also help you think about your marketing and how you attract clients, how you pursue clients, customers. So the first level of engagement with prospects is best when it's done speaking about their known spoken problems. Now, I know that is a mouthful, but let's talk about it as the easily, quickly discussed external issues that a person is facing. Small business owner, easily going to say, yes, cash flow is always big. Maintaining customers, or they may say hiring good people. Those are easy issues that come up quickly. Hey, what's the hardest thing in your business? Oh, managing cash flow. Okay. Time management for busy parents. If you're going to reach out to busy parents, you've got to have a message that understands how time crunched they really are. I was talking with a guy who his son is in college, and his son is talking about how incredibly busy he is, and he doesn't have time to work out as much as he wants. He's taking all these classes. He's working on an internship, right? And he's doing a side hustle thing. And the dad is laughing. It's like, dude, you have so much more time now than you ever will once you have kids. You you just have, but there's no way to know that until you're in it. So, what are the known spoken problems? The surface. My friend, fellow coach John Turner, he calls it the surface level issues. And if you don't get those, then you will never get a foot in the door with a prospect. And this is a prospect that you could do in an election. You could do it in a business. You could turn to in terms of dating. If you do not understand and seek to understand the immediate surface issues, that external issues that are plaguing, bothering, that they are openly complaining about. If you don't understand that, then you're never going to get invited in, past the entryway, get a foot in the door, and then get to the dining room table where deals are signed. You're not going to get that if you don't get the first. So, what was the first? And this was the issue that I don't know if the Democrats could have ever overcome, and that's inflation. That is the first. And we're seeing that in exit polls, number one issue for people, inflation. And as one guy on CNN, I can't remember who it was that night, said something pretty, he's like, look, yeah, we can talk about how this is a threat to democracy or whatever other downstream issues we can talk about, but those go out the window when your engine light comes on and you don't have the money to pay for it and you don't know how you're going to get to work because your car is broken down. You're not worried about larger philosophical issues like democracy. You're worried about the fact that prices are about 20% higher than they were 4 years ago. Now, does it matter that the inflation rate has come down so drastically over the last year? No, because consumers, economists like to talk about inflation rate, and rightly so, needing to come down. But consumers talk about price levels, which have not come down. They went up, and they stopped going up as much, but that doesn't mean they came down. And you got scores and scores of people who can say they're 20% higher than they were 4 years ago. They haven't come down. They're not going to come down, by the way. That just doesn't happen. You don't want, and rapid deflation is probably worse for the economy than rapid inflation. So, but the memory of that when it was so high, going higher, higher, and it's interesting, stats say that the wage increase has matched the price increase, but that means I'm making more, but I'm not getting anywhere, just treading water. That's the main immediate surface issue. And I don't know if the Democrats fully understood that as much because they're, or could have overcome it because they're the party under which the inflation happened. Now they can say, and I think this is a valid point, that was because of the things we had to do to recover from the pandemic economically. And the Fed raising rates over and over again, but that is not under the control of the White House administration, which Trump is about to find out because he's already talked about, do I fire Jerome Powell, head of the Fed? No, you can't. It's not your job. You can't hire or fire. But known spoken problem, inflation. Trump got this. And it was easy. How many people did you see speaking about how, look, any other candidate, any other Republican candidate would have won even more so. It was his own personal flaws that actually made it as close as it is because you've got so many disgruntled people with the level of the economy, not the grand level of economy, but the economy in their own households, that it doesn't matter. I mean, you have Nikki Haley running. I think she wins by a huge margin because just the incumbent party is the one being held responsible in voters' minds for these price increases. So I call this the I get you level. And it's the first level of marketing. I've got to show you that I am eager to understand you. I'm eager to understand your plight. I'm eager to understand what is plaguing you right now. And Democrats largely had a message that things are better than you think. Well, that may be factually so, but that doesn't mean that's how they're feeling. And while, this is fascinating. We used to have back in the 7, 8 years ago, there was this whole feelings, not facts thing. You're talking about feelings and screw your feelings, right? We want facts. Well, now it's flipped a lot. We don't want facts. We want feelings. And so the facts that might contradict what led me to feel this way are not making a dent. But here is one fact. It is a fact that people feel that way. Facts are not feelings, but feelings absolutely are facts. And we have to understand that so much better as we try to market our own products and services, whether that's getting elected or selling donuts. We've got to understand what are the feelings our customers are having. And that is the first level. We've got to understand that. Jerome Powell actually said today, the Fed did a price or a rate increase, 1/4 point today, and said, look, it's going to take years for people to get past the inflation pain that they felt. And we're striving to do that. But these are feelings. He actually came out and said this. These are feelings that aren't going away anytime soon. And that's so much of what the Republican Party got. People feel this way. There's 2 more levels to the marketing progression that we're talking about. And when we come back, we're going to talk about those 2 levels and how we can use those to understand the election as well. So stay tuned. Come right back. For the show, we are trying to look at the election and look at what we can learn from the election as dispassionately and objectively as possible about marketing and about business, because I do believe in so many ways this was a study in messaging and marketing, as every campaign always is. But this one in particular, especially when you have such a surprising result to so many people on both sides. So what we looked at in the first part of the episode is the first level of marketing, which is looking at the customers or prospects. What are their external problems? What are the things they know and they will easily speak about? Known spoken problems. And for this election, that was inflation. Now, we also had immigration. And I'm wrestling with whether or not immigration fits in this category. I think it does now because people will say it. Yes, we need a border, but I don't know how much people can actually state exactly how the immigration is affecting them personally, but certainly plenty can. But uh, I'm wrestling. I think immigration may fit into that. And again, if you look at the stats, those are the two biggest issues that Trump campaigned on, and those are the two issues that concerned the most voters: inflation and immigration. Now, inflation, I think they felt much more, but one of the things that we said that is fascinating, I think this speaks to the immigration issue, is how much Trump gained with Latino men and women. And I will tell you this, based on just conversations I've had with folks, but certainly some articles I've read and some people I know that are very dear to me, one of the people who may have the biggest problem with illegal immigration are first generation immigrants who did it legally. And their feeling is very similar to kind of like the prodigal son. His dad, I've been here the whole time. I've done everything right. And this guy who's done everything wrong can just walk back in and you're going to throw a feast for him. Then that resentment is real. And I think we have seen that. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, immigration is on that level. Known, spoken level, external problem. You have to get that or you won't get anything else. You have to get that. They did. Republicans did. Then the next level of progression, because that doesn't necessarily, sometimes it will get you the deal. You know, you promise, hey, I've got a cash flow solution for your small business. Okay, maybe that's all you need to get repeat business, to get extended even deeper, to upsell, to build a very, very loyal, loving, raving fan. You got to go to the next level, which are the known unspoken problems. My friend, Coach John Turner, calls this the secret problems. So the first is the surface, the second is the secret. This is a small business owner who you get them with two margaritas and they start to admit that I think I may have bitten off more than I can chew. I'm working more than I did when I had a corporate job. I left that job to work for myself, but now I'm working more and I'm paying other people. And I don't know if I like doing this and I don't know if I'm regretting it or it's really lonely at the top. Those are the known unspoken problems. And if you do a good enough job with the first level, I get you, then you can leap to the next level, which is I got you. Meaning, this is my appeal. I work with CEOs and their teams, and one of my appeals is it's lonely, but you don't have to go it alone. That's why I'm here. So where you're not, a CEO is not complaining to his reports or her direct reports about something because that doesn't work well. But they struggle with that a lot, even if they don't admit it. They may admit it to other CEOs. They don't admit it openly. They admit it to me. And then I can say, I got you. And here are my package solutions that are going to help you. My first, what I lead with is drama. Would you like less drama in your teams? That's a known spoken problem. Yes, people problems. They drive me crazy, especially as you get bigger as a business. But they're in every organization, they're in every family, every gathering of human beings. People problems and drama exhaust people. And if you can offer a solution, as I do, then that helps. Then you get to the other one. What is this? The more secret? Like I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but that's CEOs. It's only at the top. What was this for the election? This, in so many ways, was that you've been looked down on and dismissed because perhaps you're not as well educated as the elites. It's interesting that the Democratic Party has always prided itself on being the party that battles inequality. Certainly not always, because the Democratic Party was the one opposing the civil rights movement in so many ways. But they have doubled down on certain inequalities and address those: LGBTQ, and trans, and race. What the Republican Party seemed to do better this time was understand the uh, inequality that comes with education. 60-40 women, men in college. Top 10% of graduating high schools, 67% women. Men are getting less college degrees and feeling left out, and women are getting more college degrees, and there's this growing gap. And men also, and it's beginning to speak out loud, but certainly for a while, maybe they didn't know it very much, but have felt uh, underappreciated. They have felt this gap has not been recognized by political leaders until Trump came along. And his message was, I got you. Nailed, I get you. Nailed, I got you. Now, we can debate as to whether his plans are actually going to succeed, but we can't debate that his message connected with people that believe in him because they believe that he believes in them. Now, Kamala can certainly could speak to that a lot, didn't speak to it as well. And I think the known unspoken is I'm tired of being told how to speak and think about other people that I don't understand. And I'm tired of being made to feel guilty for my feelings. Like we talked about the first half of the show, facts are not feelings, but feelings are most definitely facts. It is a fact that these people feel this way. It's also a fact that feelings drive behavior. And if you're dealing with people who are feeling vastly underappreciated or even insulted or constantly told that you're wrong because your traditional understanding hasn't adapted quickly enough, you get resentful. And then you come along with somebody who they believe is strong enough to say it out loud, then that message is, I got you. It resonates. So what's the last level? The last level is the unknown, unspoken problem. Here's where you got to get masterful. The unknown, unspoken, here is why you are as upset as you are, and you don't even know it. If you can do that, if you guess that and you guess it accurately, you go, you're in the entryway with I get you. You're in the dining room, living room with I got you. You're in the bedroom with this last one. And you can guess and speak to what something going on. This was Steve Jobs was masterful at this. He's like, look, they don't even know what they want until I tell them. So I'm going to invent the iPad, even though no one is actually pining for it. And the first critiques of the iPad were it's a problem, a solution in search of a problem. Well, it found one. It found lots of them. And he was such a visionary to understand this is what people want, and they don't even know that they want it. I think Trump's similar. And this is what people are feeling, even though they don't even feel. They know that they're feeling it. And that's where, and maybe that speaks to some of the educational divide that we were talking about in the second category. Maybe it fits better in the third one. Just maybe you're not aware of how resentful you have felt at the rapid rate of social change that has been thrust upon you. And you're being chastised because you don't get pronouns right. He's coming in and speaking to that. Doesn't matter where we are morally on that, what we need to look at is we need to understand the human psyche and understand that people are not as quick to change without pushback. They never have been, but we are undergoing so much rapid change, technological and social, that I think we're seeing pushback. And then you have someone who's willing to take all the arrows that these people don't have to take. He's willing to do that. He's willing to be ridiculed. He's willing to be chastised. He's willing to be arrested. He's willing to do anything and everything. And they sense that, okay, he's taken the blows for us. That's how much he understands us. Now, here's where it remains to be seen. I think he nailed I Get You. I think he nailed I Got You. The last is ultimately, in my book, you got this. You're the hero, not me. I don't think Trump has that in him. But he nailed the first two. But as a coach, my job is to work myself out of a job. Same as a parent. Anytime people come to me for advice, my job is to help them get out. And so I get you, I got you, but then you got this, and then launch them out. So that's how I'll end this show. You got this. No matter where you were in the election, you're going to get through it, and you're going to figure out ways you can learn from it. Hopefully, we've added a tiny, tiny part of that tonight. See you next time. This is Hal Runkel. This is Leader's Boss.
You have been listening to The Leader's Pause with Hal Runkel, the show that helps leaders like you find calm, get clear, and level up. Tune in every first and third Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio to access your greatest superpower, the ability to pause, think, and decide for yourself. Book a conversation with Hal today. Visit halrunkel.com.